Hello everybody and welcome back to Space Engineers. This is a new game, but I am going to be doing a first look, or not really first look, but review of the new update of Space Engineers. It is the Warfare 2 Broadside update, which is two parts really. It has two major things. It has base games, like stuff added to the game, and it has DLC stuff. So if you want, you can just sort of, if you've got Space Engineers, your game can just update and you'll have all these without needing to do anything because you own the game. However, if you want any of these things, you'll have to buy the DLC, which I believe is about £2, £2.50, something like that. So not too expensive. And so far, what I can see, looks like it might be worth it. So we're going to start off with the first thing. And as it is a Warfare DLC, it's going to involve guns. This one in particular is an artillery turret. Now, I also want to make it clear that I have not shot any of these weapons, so any my impressions will be literally on the spot, because I like to see, yeah. Anyway, so the artillery cannon, this is the round it will shoot. Oh. That's the sort of like texture model for the round it shoots. So you can just put them in here. It's got plenty of import sides to be able to put the weapon in, and a good amount of storage. I also probably want to make it clear that what this is. This is a 10-layer thick spaced armor wall. So each one is heavy armor, and it's basically just a shooting wall for us to test how good these weapons are. I'll be very surprised if anything gets past it, but we have some big things coming up. So yeah, let's shoot this one. Well, that was pretty impressive. It looks like it has gone through a layer of heavy armor. It's gone through 2 layers of heavy armor. No. Nope. It's gone through 1. Pretty impressive. But that's a pretty cool shooting animation, you know? See if I can get it. Yeah, look at that. The amount of fire that comes out the barrel of that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I believe this artillery piece has a good range. Yeah, 2,000 meters range. So that shot, I can go absolutely, that can go 2 kilometers. Pretty impressive. Now, this next turret is another artillery turret. However, this one is just a mounted thing; it can't rotate. This one is on a turret. So, yeah, that means you can actually control it. It has a camera, and you can, yeah, look. So, if we aim at this and fire. Pretty good, second. So it's a 2-shot burst. That's pretty cool, and it's a decent reload. This is the speed that it can rotate at. It can do a full 360, and it's got a decent amount of rotation. What if I aim? So as you can see, if I didn't move my turret, they aren't perfectly aligned. But yeah. This one is a pretty cool gun, and again, really cool fire physics. If you look over here, yeah, as you can see, it's just gone through 1 little bit of heavy armor, so still powerful. Heavy armor is nothing to be messed about with. Now, the third turret happens as a small grid version and a large grid version. It's the assault cannon turret. So as the name implies, it's more of a faster firing rather than an artillery, more closer range. So these ones have a 800 and 600 meter radius respectively, and it shoots this round. So again, cool, nice mesh model or texture on it. Looks cool. We could have a look at the smaller gun first, as you can see. Here's me, and yeah, nice fast turning rotation, single turret, so single shot. But that's still packing a punch. And then we have the big turret, which I'm guessing is a 2-shot. It is indeed. And again, nice fire physics. So if we aim here, wait for this smoke to settle. Ah, it hasn't managed to get through a single piece of heavy armor. Even for a couple of shots, it still hasn't actually got through. It's dinted it. Or it might have got through just there after I'd sent the second volley, but... So yeah, that's more lighter arms turrets, I guess. But still definitely cool. And then we have this monster, which also has a small grid version. And there's, well, you may be able to guess, it's a railgun. So it's used to superconductors and stuff, which means you need a lot of gold and all that. I don't know if you saw the actual material requirements for each of these things. I'll just hover over. So it's not too terribly hard to grind up. It's just a lot of steel. Oh, I don't need to see that. Yeah, it's mainly just a lot of steel, iron-related products. Now, do we have this set up? We do. Let's shoot the smaller turret first. Whoa! Did you see that? That. The wait, is the animation on this as well? Whoa! That is actually insanely cool. So if I ah! It's like a full-on energy pulse. Can we shoot this one again? Actually, before we shoot it again, I should probably look to see how much damage it's actually done. Oh, it's gone through layers. I can't access it through here. Has that gone through 3 layers? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 layers of heavy armor. Ouch. Now that's something you don't want to mess about with. So let's see if I can yeah, look at that. That is a very cool effect. As you can hear, it's pretty beefy sounding. This next one, it is a custom turret controller, which, as you can guess, means you can design custom turrets, finally! So, normally, used to be, the only way to be able to make custom turrets was to have a script. You'd have to name the little rotors and stuff, and you'd need gyros, and it's all complicated stuff. It'd take a while, you'd probably have to watch a tutorial. Now, you can just plonk this down, build a turret, simple turret. You can see I've just added some of these railguns onto it. Add a camera with a couple of rotors. Name your rotors, and then come onto here. So you select your rotor you want to turn left and right. You've got your elevation rotor, and then your camera. And then you can also change the speed that these can rotate at. And yeah, there's also a whole system which I haven't messed about with targeting. So you can turn on an AI, and basically you can have a target. It's like a normal turret then. So how these ones can be like AI controlled, you can set up custom turrets which can also be AI controlled, which is absolutely insane. Now, so if you had a seat, you can select it and press control, and as you can see, I can control it. So I've set it to max speed, so it's very snappy. It's also a little bit wobbly. So let's see if I can wait, what about if I set it to like 10? There you go, a little bit more. And again, you can just click and fire. Which, something like a railgun. Oh, this would be sick. And then yeah, you can just leave it. And as you can see, yeah, no gyros needed. It's all through rotors. Really cool. Now the next one, people will like people who design stuff like dropships and things like that. They're gonna love this. So on the left, you have just base game normal seats. On the right, you have these new seats they've added. as you can see, this is the same space, however you fit an extra seat in. These ones are called offset seats, passenger offset seats offset. And essentially, as you can see, the hitbox is a 2x2, where on these ones it is a 3x2. So it means you can fit the seats a lot more compact together, which is really, really cool. And of course, you can just use them like normal. So yeah, I think people will like those quite a lot. So now we're getting on to small grid turrets. So although I've shown some of those ones, there are some like smaller turrets which are just meant like that's it, they don't have a large grid version. So we can start with the auto cannon. And this is your auto cannon. Pretty cool. How many shots? Can shoot for a while. Alright, let's shoot the wall. Boom, 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 boom. So I've been shooting this one little bit of heavy armor for quite a bit now. Let's see what it's actually done. Looks like it's mainly just dinted it, yeah. It's done like a... Ooh, it's actually hit this one quite hard, but most of them, yeah, not too much damage. So, again, that is more for a anti-drone, anti-air sort of turret, I'd say. Next one. Now these ones are, again, just like a standalone turret. Let's actually get this, because I've just realised I've placed this the wrong way. So yeah, it has no rotating capabilities, it is literally just a standalone turret. So, pretty self-explanatory. Again, we can just shoot it. So it's just like this one, however, it's on not a turning base. That's all I can really say for that one. Now this one is the assault cannon. So, like the assault cannon that was over there, this is just the mountable version. Also, I have done the exact same thing with this one as I did with the other one. I haven't placed it the right way. So again, this one is probably... You can see the fire rate of this thing. So it's slower firing, but pretty cool. You could make a really cool tank cannon with something like this. So if you had like a tank with a rotating turret, like you did something like that, you can make really, really cool looking things. So that's the end of the base game stuff. So all of that you'll have access to, like I say, just by playing the game. Now we're going to move on to the DLC stuff. Like I say, to be able to have access to any of this stuff, you're going to have to pay for it. So it's a small fee of about £2.50 to £2.60. I can't quite remember. But yeah, simply just look on the Steam store and yeah, you'll find it. So this is a heat vent, which is an interesting thing. I've never thought about it in the game. But essentially, so there's got some vents up here, and they'll open up when your ship starts to warp, like when it starts to use a lot more power. So the more power it uses, the more this heats up and the more it has to vent, like cool the station down, cool the ship down. Really cool decorative feature, I think. Has no purpose, doesn't really do anything, but yeah, it's very, very interesting. You can control how much power is being utilized before it will start activating. I think by standard it's on 60%. So when your when your grid is using more than 60% of its available power, this one will start to open up. So yeah, that's a cool thing. Next, we have some more seating. So these are like benches. So these are just individual little bench seats. You know, you can just sort of sit down. Again, this would be really cool for like a dropship. I get some Halo sort of vibes with something like this. You could really make something cool, I think. Then we have a couple more weapons. So this is a missile a rocket launcher, and we have a Gatling gun. So the rocket launcher, Actually, I think its reload is on the bottom. But if I turn on this, I can shoot the gun. And I can shoot... you know what, I'll just turn the rockets on as well. You can see the fire rate. So this is just a normal sort of Gatling gun. Has a cool little turning animation. And of course fires. This one, just a bit of a slow firer, but constant. Just switches between the rocket pods. This is the back section, of course, and that bit's the front. And yeah, now the third thing is they're called bridge windows. So these are really, really cool blocks. As you can see, it's glass. So this is I'll remove that so you can see if I don't fall off, that is. So it's a piece of glass, and then it has a angled piece of armor at the bottom. So really cool for making bridges. You can imagine that, like, if this was like the roof. So if let's say this was a roof, and you could have like your big hangar area, and you could have a bridge up top looking down at all of the ships. So you could just be like, it's like an observation post. Or you could build an external thing, or whatever. But yeah, these things look pretty cool. It has a nice corner piece. But yeah, glass, nice. Now these are cool. These are called light panels. So it's a little bit like your LCD panels, but you can't display anything. All you can do is display a light on it, and it just works with the RGB stuff. Like if I put this down, so it'll just show up in your main control panel as a light panel. You'll have RGB, you'll have radius. It just works like a normal light. But what I think is cool about this is this would enable you to make a disco floor, I think. Because then you could place a lot down on a floor, and then you can have them switch colours. Or you can use them as ceiling lights if you set them as a white colour or whatever colour, because they work like a normal light. They can light up a room. So yeah, that's another thing which is cool. Now this one is, well, these two, these are reactors. So use uranium and generate power. Now it says in the description of these ones they produce a lot of power, 300 megawatts to be exact. For the large one, 14.75 megawatts for the small grid large one, and then we've got for this one it makes 500 kilowatts, which again that's pretty good for like a small grid ship. Or you have this one. So this is the small large grid one, 15 megawatts. So yeah, some more options. As you can see, they all look, let's see, one access point in the back, cool little reactor surrounded by glass, pretty cool. This one, just like a small little cylinder. So let's say you could just sort of stack these up and make like a pillar, because connection point on the top and bottom. So they they look cool. It's like sort of like one of those, but it's like, yeah, like that. And then yeah, we've got this big one. So it's got little ladder access on here. You can go all the way around, or you can access it from the middle. So these are the same as some of the DLC not catwalks, but like the railings. That's the word. So yeah, this has a access point on the back, on the top, and I believe it has one on the bottom. Yes. So it also has one on the bottom, one block set in, so it has one basically here. So they're offset. Keep that in mind. Moving on, we have 3 iterations of airtight hangar doors. So like the base games, like the base game ones, they are 2 blocks high, or 3. So it has the main block, and then it can extend 2 extra blocks, retract, makes things airtight. But 3 different sort of design ones. So this one is just the warfare hangar doors. So this is just the normal ones. We have the warfare hangar doors 2. So it's just a different iteration design looking at it. And then we have the Warfare Hangar Doors Window edition. So it doesn't look, it looks pretty cool like that, but imagine if it closed down to sort of like the floor. It means you could sort of see out without having to open the full door. Pretty cool. And of course I can show you the retracting and closing. So yeah, just like the other ones. Slowly retracts. Has all the sound effects like the normal of it closing and opening. And these ones are the same. So it moves one section at a time. And they all just have the same sound effect. So yeah, those are pretty cool. And again, opening, same thing. But that's about all of that. Next option, or not the next option, but next thing from the DLC are batteries. We have Warfare batteries. So these ones, I believe they're just more armoured, and they look really, really cool. I love the aesthetic of these ones. So it only displays its battery status at the front, and has a control point to view it. And the small grid version is the exact same size as the vanilla batteries, but again just sort of look a little bit cooler. Again, big display, like the same size as a normal on the side, and yeah, a couple of like electric decals, and yeah, really, really, really cool. I love what they've done with these. Yeah, like them. Now these are hatches. So if you had like a big ship or something, you can open the doors and fall through. So there's two versions. There's this version, which is the half sliding hatch door, and you have this one, which is the sliding hatch door. The only difference is this: the actual door part is a half block, where this one is a full block. But they work exact same way. Alright, so the next one I think are really, really cool. These are searchlights. So they'll randomly just, when you first build them, you know how turrets can have just AI random just sort of searching. Yeah, you can, well that's how it's a standard. It sort of just has a light beam, like a spotlight, and it's mounted on a turret base. There's a small grid version and a large grid. You can also, if I went on here, be able to control them. So if I'm on here, I can control it. Oh, this is a small grid one. There we go. Now I'm on the big one. And again, if you just search Searchlight, it's the same thing. They have a aiming radius, so they'll lock onto targets. Just like a normal gun, so you can set up what you want them to do, and you can increase the radius like every other one. So have blinking, sort of all the things that you have on a normal light. You can set them as a different colour. We have some new control stations. I believe that, yeah, they're called helms. So you've got the large grid and you've got a small grid, both same size, but you know, just you can work on either. Now, I'm a little bit far away, but you actually stand at the thing, which I think is really, really cool. So yeah, you just hold on to one of the railings and hold on to the joystick. It looks really cool. I can imagine this being used for controlling some like outside machinery, like if you had a big crane or like a sort of grabbing arm for your station. Yeah, it could look really, really cool. Or you can, of course, you could use it to control your ship. It just works like a normal control seat. So yeah, that's those. So these are ion engines. So these are the Warfare ion engines. So we've got the small and the large thrusters, and then we also have the small grid version of the small one and the large grid, the small grid version of the large one. That's a tongue twister. Anyway, so yeah, it's just like a miniature version. I really, really like this one. The main center sort of one, and then it's got the little corner bits. Yeah, really, really cool. Again, the iron engine, so they will only work in a space environment. They have no power on planets. They have a little bit of power on moons until you get too close onto the gravity. But yeah, really, really cool. And that is all of the new blocks added. Let me know what you think of all of them, and give me a comment on what you think of my actual review. I've never done something like this before, this is the first time. And yeah, I hope to do more of these in the future. I did actually forget one little thing. There's 2 new emotes. You know how you got the emotes bit? So I removed all my other DLCs just to work out which ones are new. There's 2 new ones. There's a rock paper scissors one, which essentially picks a random thing. So that's paper. So you could, if you had like a friend, you could play rock paper scissors with them. It'll give me a random one every time, I believe. Let's see if I get something different other than paper. There you go. There's rock. And then let's see if it gives me scissors. No. Come on. One more time. Maybe? No, okay. Well, there are all 3 of them in there, but of course it will pick one at random. And you also, the other thing you have is a salute. So yeah, you can salute your general, or your captain, or your whoever. Also, you can show it in first person. You got rock, paper, scissors. There's paper. Got another one. Okay. And then yeah, saluting you can't really see because But yeah, forgot to say them. There are also 2 new things. But however, they are only DLC type things. You need to have the DLC to be able to unlock them. They're the only base game ones. But yeah, on to whichever part I snuck this into. But overall, really cool update and DLC expansion. Now I don't mind having DLCs. I think it really adds some stuff to the game. Help out the game devs to allow them to pay their staff and come out with even cooler content in the future. So yeah, that's going to end today's episode. If you liked it, please consider giving me a like and subscribing to my channel. But that's all for today, so bye!